Hey everyone, welcome back to Age and Education channel. Today we shall continue with the chapter Agriculture. So in the last class we have started seeing about the varied process of the agriculture, right? We have mentioned that it is very important or critical for the farmer to follow these sequential steps so that he would get a nice or better produce, right? So first of all, what is the first step that we have looked into? Preparation of soil. Do you remember what is the meaning of preparation of the soil? Yes, I know that you all remember. It is turning up the soil to loosen the soil, right? So why is this loosening of the soil important? Do you remember? I'll just give you a moment, just try to recall. Yes, okay. So it is used for better root penetration, right? Better root penetration, and roots can breathe properly, right? So that the roots can breathe, right? And apart from that, why is it important? Do you remember? Yes, for the sake of earthworms and other useful microbes, right? Earthworms, the friends of the farmer, that will help in the decomposition of the waste, that will be helpful for the farmer as you can get manure with it, right? Okay, we will look into this concept later, but for now we do this, we need preparation of the soil for this, and this process of preparation of the soil is called as what? Tilling or plowing. So how will this be done? How will the plowing be done? It is done using either plow, hoe or cultivator, right? Alright, first we shall look into plough. So what is plough? It is one of the tools that is used for tilling. Apart from tilling, plough is also used for putting the fertilizers and also removal of weeds, right? So for all these purposes, plough is used. And traditionally these ploughs were made from wood, but now even we can find iron ploughs, right? So what does this do? As I have mentioned, it is used for tilling, right? But how is this tilling done using the plough? For that you should know how the plough would be, right? So plough will have a beam, okay? And this beam will be connected to a plough shaft. What is it? Plough shaft. And this plough shaft at its end will have a plough share. What is it? Plough share. And this plough share will help us in the process of tilling, right? This beam will be carried by the animals on its back. The animal will move all through the field, and this plowshare will do the work of tilling the soil. All right. Now, then what is hoe? Hoe is a simple tool, right? It is used for simple tilling, like for a small piece of land it is used. Okay. And how about this cultivator that we have mentioned? What is this cultivator? Cultivator is used with the tractors, right? So just look at the difference. This plow is a tool that will be used along with animals, right? And hoe is a simple tool, okay? And cultivator is used with tractors, right? So this will make the work easy for the farmers. And when can the farmer use this cultivator, these tractors? When he has a large piece of land, right? So it all depends upon the situation of the farmer, his financial capacity and everything else, right? So this is about preparation of the soil. We are done with it. So what comes next? Sowing, right? So after we are done with plowing, like tilling the soil, we'll have to sow the seeds, right? All right, next is sowing, right? So for sowing, what do we need? What are we sowing? We are sowing the seeds. So have to check if the seed quality is good or not, if the seeds are viable or are they damaged. Have to know. There is one popular method used by the farmers for this. What is that? It is said that the damaged seed would be hollow. Hollow means it will be lighter and so it will float in water, right? So farmers use this method to know if the seed is good enough or not. Okay. So now how is the sowing done? The sowing is done like there is one traditional method and one modern method. We will look into both of these. Okay. In the traditional method, what happens? The farmer will put the seeds in a funnel type of structure, right? And this funnel will be connected to 2 or 3 rods through another rod. Okay. So when the farmers put the seeds here, the seeds will go down and it will be distributed into the soil, and this end part will be very sharp such that it pierces the soil. Okay, pierces the soil and the seed will be placed in its position. Okay, this is the traditional method that had been in use since many years, many centuries rather, right? What is the modern method? The modern method is using seed drill. What happens here? The seed drill is used along with tractors. So when I say tractors, it itself means that this is the speedier and efficient way of doing the things, right? It's obvious, right? So a human being carrying this funnel type of structure and moving around the field, and a tractor doing it, how fast it can do, right? So you can compare as how it is efficient. Okay. So apart from this being speedier and efficient, what are the other advantages of it? The other advantages being it ensures that the seeds are placed in uniform distance and depth, right? Uniform distance and depth. Also, there is appropriate distance that is maintained, so that why do we need appropriate distance? Because this can ensure that sufficient sunlight, water and nutrients reach the seeds, and these are all required for the development of the seed, right? Only then the seed will develop into plant, right? It needs sunlight, water and nutrients, and if there is appropriate distance that is maintained, there will not be any competition, and so the seed will happily grow. Okay. And apart from this, there is also one other advantage. What is that advantage? After the seed is being sowed, after the seed is sowed into the soil, automatically this seed drill will cover the seed with the soil. All right. So this will help it, this will protect the seed, right? Otherwise any bird may come and eat the seed. Okay. So the seed drill serves it gives us many advantages, right? So after sowing, what happens? All right, you have sowed the soil and now the seed is in its place. After that, what you have to do for this seed to grow up as a plant? Yes, you should give it some food, right? So it comes like adding manure or fertilizers. All right, that is the third step. So what is the third step? Adding some manures or fertilizers. So another question that rings is, what is manure and what is fertilizer? Right? So manures are organic way of supplying nutrients. Organic way of supplying nutrients. Whereas fertilizers are chemicals that will be produced in some industry and which are predominantly made of one particular nutrient which will be supplied to the soil. All right. So first of all, we will look into manures. So what are manures? Manures are the organic substances. What are these? Organic substances that are obtained from decomposition of plant and animal waste. All right, decomposition of plant and animal waste. By who will decompose this plant and animal waste? Yes, microorganisms. We have already mentioned earlier, right? microorganisms will decompose this plants and animal waste, and then the farmer will obtain the manure. Okay, so this manure when added to the soil, it will help the seeds to grow. Okay, now how about the fertilizers? This is the natural way, and you know this process takes a bit of time, right? So fertilizers are easy way to go ahead with the with providing nutrients to the soil. How are these fertilizers made? These are the chemicals that are predominantly rich in one sort of nutrient, right? So one type of fertilizer will be good in one nutrient, and these are made in factories. Where are these made? Factories. These manures are made by the farmers themselves, whereas these chemicals are made in factories, and as they are rich in some sort of nutrients, these will be put into the soil, and it will help the seed to develop at a faster pace, right? What are the examples of this? NPK, nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus, right? So NPK, and after that you can even mention urea, potash, all these to be examples of the fertilizers. Okay, so with the fertilizers you will get better produce. So do you think fertilizers are very good? So it doesn't have any disadvantages? No, it has many disadvantages. What are these disadvantages? Though they are giving the better produce to the farmer, they are actually making the soil less fertile. What are they making? They are making the soil less fertile, and also these are polluting the water, right? So these are the disadvantages of fertilizers. Though they are giving better produce to the farmer, in the longer term, what they are doing? They are making the soil less fertile, and they are making the water polluted. Because of this, how bad the long term effects are. When we are seeing some good things in the short term, we are at the same time able to see very bad things in the long term. So what do you think is better, manures or fertilizers? Yes, manures are better than the fertilizers, right? So we shall also see about some advantages of the manures, right? As we have mentioned, manures are good for the soil, right? Good for the soil. These manures will improve the texture of the soil. What is it? Improve texture of the soil. And apart from that, what they do? Just think, as I have mentioned, they won't pollute the water, right? They won't pollute the water. Won't pollute water. And also, what do they do? Just think, just think. I have already mentioned everything. I just want you to think. Manures will, yes, they will have better water holding capacity, right? Better water holding capacity, and these will also make the soil porous. What does it mean? It means that the gap between the soil will be more, and this will help in better exchange of gases, right? So see these many advantages for this manures. So what do you prefer using, manures or fertilizers? Obviously manures, right? Though as I have mentioned, in the short term they will give better produce, but in long term it is going to hamper the entire process of the agriculture, because the soil will lose its fertility, and without a good soil, whatever we do, we cannot see good results in the long term, right? So now what should we do? What do you think? What is the other way to actually protect the soil? We have mentioned about the manures. See, when I'm saying that we have to supply nutrients to the soil for the seeds to grow, do you think that only if we supply the nutrients the soil will have the supply of it? Can't it produce by itself? Like, won't the natural process will help it produce by itself? Yes, but provided you have to give some time for the soil to replenish, right? You have to give some time for the soil to allow it to produce the nutrients. But if you keep on planting the seeds, like sowing the seeds, and if you always want some produce to be there on the land, then how can the soil get time to make up the new nutrients? Replenish the nutrients means making the nutrients back again. So you will have to give the time. So previously what farmers used to do, they used to go for crop rotation. What is crop rotation? Crop rotation means they used to at one time something like leguminous crop, right? Leguminous crops. As I have mentioned, how will these crops be helpful? These will have rhizobium bacteria. Like I have explained this concept around while you were in 6th grade or 7th grade. Okay, so the leguminous crops will have rhizobium bacteria, and these bacteria will help fix the atmospheric nitrogen, right? Fix atmospheric nitrogen. In this way the soil will be provided with nitrogen. So at one time this crop used to be put, and the next time wheat. So what happens? You are providing some way for the nutrients to be replenished in the soil, right? So this is about the crop rotation. And the other method is you leave the land alone for after two crops, after you put two crops, for few days or few months you leave the land, so that again it can replenish the nutrients. So in that way too the soil will be provided with the nutrients. So apart from manures, fertilizers, which are external way of giving the food or nutrients to the soil, the soil can also replenish the nutrients by itself if you follow some good practices, like leaving the land without any crop for some time after some 1 or 2 crops, or using the method of crop rotation. All right, so what next? Yeah, we are done with supplying the nutrients. And what else also you should do? You usually do every time. What is it? It is giving water to the plant, not the plant as such, seed, right? For the seed to germinate, that needs some water that you have to supply, right? If there is rain, that's very good, fine. But if there is no rain, then we have to provide the water, right? So we should look into the concept of irrigation, right? What next? Irrigation. So before dealing with this, I think we should wrap up the video here because it's already 18 minutes. Okay, in the next video I will continue with this irrigation. All right, so now till now what have we seen? What are the steps? Preparation of the soil, right? Preparation of soil. Then what else? Sowing the seeds. After that you should provide food for it, right? So how do you provide? Through manures and fertilizers, right? So the next thing is you should provide water, not only food, you should also provide water, right? That is irrigation. So we shall look into this in the next video. All right, fine. Now if you feel like this video is good for you, or if it is helpful, then consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. All right, thank you, bye.